Well, hello, fellow traveler. Hope all's good with you whenever you happen to come across this. We're going to dive into a little mutable energy alchemy with a individual read for each star sign of the mutable elemental expression, which is, of course, Gemini. We have to bring in Gemini first to kick off this series because it is still their solar return, and I'm going to have a Quest Wildcard Read Solar Return Edition coming in for all you Geminis out there who are celebrating your next trip around the sun. I hope it's full of lots of blessings, lots of reasons to celebrate, and most of all, plenty of occasions for laughter and just maybe a little frivolity, just not having to take anything too seriously and having yourself a good old time, okay? Happy birthday to all of you. And we'll, of course, get Virgo in there, Sag in there, and Pisces, too, with an individual read. And I'm also going to talk about what house this new moon in Gemini on the 14th is going to be coming in at and influencing you for each of the individual star signs. And in terms of that with the astrology, you really want to pay attention to that influence in relation to your rising sign. So that piece can really speak to the collective that has a rising sign in a mutable expression, okay? But even if you don't, it still can apply. If it's your sun sign or you got any other placement, it's just highly noted for those who have a rising sign in terms of the astrological house that's influenced during this new moon for you, all right? It helps you know how to really work your mojo in order to turn the wheel of fortune in your favor, working in alignment with the harmony of the current lunar cycle. And as we move into the new moon, that's when we're building our energy for moving forward. And we know from previous downloads that we've been building up this energy for quite some time. So I think we're ready to bring it forward into its outer expression and really get it moving in such a way where it gathers some momentum with the culmination of the full moon that'll come in on the other side of this waxing phase. But I do want to bring in this piece because I think that it helps really hone in the reads first of all, but also give you tools of transformation to work with in harmony with the flow of the lunar cycles. And I think it's just something beneficial for everybody, and it encourages you to get to know more about your chart too, so you can really work with your inner cosmology to influence the outer cosmology. And we're just going to dive right in, but first I want to get a collective read, and this is not going to be long and drawn out. I know I always try my best, but really I do want to keep these really condensed and focused, but I want to open up with just a little collective read for everybody, even if you don't have a mutable sign, to recognize you still have mutable houses, okay? And we're looking at the 3rd house, 6th house, 9th house, and 12th house in terms of the mutable signs. So check out what you got going on there in your chart, how you may be influenced. Where do you have the most placements? Where do you have a heavy hitter placement like your rising or your sun sign naturally, okay, but also your moon, your Venus, and a lot of people underplay this, but your Mercury and your Mars. And right now you also got to look at what's going on in terms of this cycle that's getting kicked off with this new moon in Gemini, which is going to lead up to its mirror moon. They're both coming in on the 14th of July for the Cancer new moon, but they're both coming in with that energy of temperance. So something that really is about moving us more into expansion, not feeling so limited or held back anymore, feeling like we finally know how the road is opening, what the journey looks like, and being able to set down that track, okay, with whatever steps taken. But it is very transformational, and if you reduce it even further, you got the Hierophant. So with the Hierophant, we're looking at power structures, intermediaries, outside authorities, and looking at it through the lens with Mars so much at the forefront of the astrology of outside authority and inner authority, and the distinction between the two, and something about really coming more into a place of inner authority, inner trust, understanding that you are directly connected to Creator, God, Goddess, however you relate to that, Buddha, just higher consciousness, even just the whole scope of nature itself. You know, some just feel really connected to the anima mundi, the world soul. I'm, you know, one little teeny microcosm that is out there amidst all these other aspects of this one ecosystem, you know. I make up one little tiny sphere of the energy surrounding this bubble of ecology, and play my part in the growth or in the dissolution of that, you know. So there's this piece too, okay? So ninth house energy is very much at the forefront because we do have Jupiter in Cancer, and what we're heading into now is a real big building of energy toward that crescendo point that comes in. It's like when you're really building the, it's coming through, so much is coming through sonically lately that I find very interesting. So there could be something about this that's coming in with a mutable expression, something involving tones of things, also specifically using the voice, harmonizing, the qualities of bridging things together to lyrical expression. So kind of a bardic quality is what I'm kind of picking up with this mutable energy here. But we're also really looking at this ability to be in that place of becoming and finding a lot of comfort there. Finding comfort there because not resisting it. And that's really the key, entering the flow here. All right, I feel like that energy took a little bit of a turn there, and I'm not going to try to figure out where it loops back, but I'm just going to flow with it. And I think that's the key. There can be experiences that come in like this where, you know, you may have something introduce itself. Some could say it's distractions, but maybe it's a moment that's coming in for a point of awareness to come in. 7:45 on the clock. I said 7:45, but when I looked at the clock, it said 7:44. So that's interesting. 7:45, 7, 9, 16, the tower, the vehicle forward. Either way, it's double sevens, 14. Temperance, balance. You see how forward the Jupiterian energy is? But it's all building up to that crescendo. Aha, Jupiter brought me back. Jupiter brought me back home. Cancer, the place of belonging, your roots. That's where Jupiter's hanging out right now. Jupiter is also one of the rulers of Pisces, so that 12th house stuff, okay? We're getting to the other side of the 12th house action. The other side of what was holding us back because we either didn't want to see it, saw it, and felt like we wish we hadn't and wanted to disconnect from it, or still seeking to recognize it, okay? Different stages of development for different people, depends on where you're at, right? So these kind of themes coming around, but there can be stuff that introduces itself. It may seem like it's a distraction, or is it? Start viewing your distractions differently. Rather than viewing them as annoyances, see it as a call to get really anchored in the present moment. See what's showing up here, because there's something that's asking for my awareness to come in. There's something to see here that provides, you could say, the Philosopher's Stone. It provides that seed of ultimate alchemy and transformation, transmutation, okay? So I think that kind of presents the vibe of this mutable energy expression for all of us, okay? there's a little bit, it's interesting to me because the energy as it's come in, I've gotten this whole vibe about sonic and what's experienced on an auditory level, and maybe even clairaudience opening up for some people, being able to tap into a different level of tone too, a more subtle tone that might not be heard outwardly, but it's an inner calling, it's an inner kind of hearing, this kind of energy coming in. Okay, there's been something about that, but there's also been this quality of meandering, and the journeyman came in, and the journeyman is all about opening up to an adventure into the wild, and you don't know quite where you're going, and that's the whole point of it. We're going to bring in the journeyman tomorrow night when I bring in a new moon portal report, but yeah, just touching on that a little bit. There's this kind of energy too. So you can find that your mind is going off on tangents. Now that can be in the positive or that can be in the negative. It all depends on the expression. Are you coming more from your unconscious, your shadow aspect, or are you coming from the light? If it's coming from a more light-based, progressive sort of source, then you're going to find that you feel really inspired, and there's actually a lot that's capturing your attention, that's giving you all kinds of ideas, and you're starting to see things differently, and you feel like in some cases where you've been looking at something for a while, you feel like, I'm seeing this as if for the first time. There's something totally different that I'm seeing here, something totally different that I'm experiencing here. Okay, and that's providing a little bit of soul smithing. It's helping you really refine who you're becoming. Okay, that energy. Oh, the master maker is still present, taking us for quite a journey, but that makes sense with the mutable energy. I mean, when we look at that quality of blacksmithing, that's a very mutable art. Okay, so okay, so the iron is being merged with the alloy, and there's this process going on of becoming the sword of decisiveness, becoming the sword of truth, becoming the sword of clarity, the clair sights, the different kind of sights that come through all the different senses. Very interesting. All right, collective, let's see. How is this energy coming through for the collective as a whole, for all of us, regardless of whether or not we have a major mutable sign placement? This is for everybody, so we know how to really harmonize with the mutable energy, work with it, especially even more so. That's important if mutability is a challenge for you, right? Like fixed signs can really benefit with looking at how to work with the mutable quality. It's beneficial. That can help things grow, you know? So this is beneficial for everybody. So let's see what the focus is. But certainly, if you have a strong mutable sign placement, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, it's really, really at the forefront for you. Bottom of the deck. Well, before you can get moving forward with that momentum and that mutability and that art of transformation, first you have to lay down the load. You have to stop carrying the resentment. You have to stop carrying the burden of everything that you're holding on to that's keeping you anchored, when really you're meant to like pull up anchor and set sail and go out there and explore and have an adventure. So this is about letting go. You don't need to make it a moral quandary, and I think that's what gets most people caught up in a lack of forgiveness. It keeps them feeling like they have to do forgiveness just like this. This is how it has to be executed, or it's not real, it's not valid, and that's not true. And sometimes forgiveness, you'd be surprised how simple it can be, as just saying, I've done enough thinking about this for right now. And it is what it is. I know what I feel about it. I know where I stand. And I don't want to catch either of our energies bound up with one another, because I'm holding on to this processing that's keeping an energetic tether there. So I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to take what I've learned from this and I'm going to integrate it and apply it to myself for a while and work on myself, integrate these experiences within me, taking anyone else or any situation outside of you into that space of what you're becoming. And that's how you really retain your true soul's essence here. So as you're in this process right now, moving into the mutability of this Gemini new moon, it's like so important to really let yourself fully go to that, you know? Really give yourself over to that. You know, in Gemini, all the action is going down in the first house. So it's solar return right now for Gemini. So this is the prevailing energy that all of the collective is feeling. This sense, like I feel reverberations in the cosmic web of creation. I can tell that there's something coming in here, and that's something, it carries that frequency of renewal. I also feel like the return of something I haven't felt for a long time. Can be that sense of like coming back to life. This is like this time of feeling like you got a reboot, a renewal of your energy. And it's also when we're going to be a little bit more personally focused too. So we can work with this. We can work with that Mars energy, that independent energy in a very beneficial way. But it does require we let go of what tethers us to what holds us back. And sometimes forgiveness is just letting it go, tabling it. I'm going to free up my thinking around this. I'm going to create space for new inspiration to come in. And I'm not going to hold up another's energy by keeping them in that place either. And then what is meant to become of that will become of that. And in the process, you're growing, you're changing, you're evolving. You see things differently. And suddenly, just one day, you recognize, wow, I really don't feel any charge around that anymore. I really don't feel any hurt around that anymore. I'm really at a place of acceptance with that. I don't need to think about it anymore. I don't need to be stressed about it. And that's really when you're at that point of forgiveness, letting go. That's when everything softens, unfurls. It's like you open up to life again because you're not like contained with all the stuff that you're still holding on to. This energy came in at 1744 on the clock. Double eights, again, 16. The Tower, the great awakening moment. Oh, I get it. Oh, that's what was holding me back all along. 18 on the clock. The initiation of the moon, Pisces. You have to have the blind spot lit up by tricking yourself. That's the way it works. It's a little bit of that Wile E. Coyote medicine. It's super genius. It knows how to trip you up. It knows the things that will trip you up because you're not wanting to look at them. And those are the things that will kind of put you in those loops all along. But it's good, you know? It's good energy. It's getting us rooted. It's giving us a place foundation. Because we got currently Pisces is experiencing this new moon energy in the 4th house. And it's all about really getting back down to the root of things. And of course, when we look at rooting, when we look at foundation, I mean, there's nothing more rooting than the earth itself too. So there is that collective call to make connection, to tap into nature again, which is a really good energy, okay? And yeah, Virgo, it's all going down in the 10th house. So it's kind of like the outer presentation to the world and what the feedback is in relation to who you're becoming. And in Sagittarius, it's going down in the 7th house. So it's all about the relationships. It's all about, okay, what it looks like as I represent who I am, as I stand in my independent energy and I'm becoming who I am and I'm allowing that to be seen, which is another part of letting go of any kind of need to show up with any kind of pretense, okay? So all of these energies are what's coming at the forefront here, going through a state of transformation, right? But it is to really be able to come to that point of interrelation and learning how to do that in a new way with the energy coming in the 7th house in relation to the Sagittarius expression. And that's that Jupiterian energy there. So this is a time when we can have a fresh perspective. We have a breakthrough moment. We see something very differently. Maybe we see our role in something in a very different way than we ever did before. Maybe we have a new understanding. We have new intentions too in those relationships, and what works for us, what doesn't, and what kind of relationships we want to forge. And we put more of a focus on improving the way we communicate with each other. So this is the kind of energy that's coming in here, this cycle. This is the mutable expression. And it's affecting you very personally, but you have to figure out, well, how do I merge that with the other or others collectively and show up as who I'm becoming? And it's a little tricky, but you know, coming back to life is kind of like that. Those first steps are a little tricky. So the overall energy for the collective is, yes, get rooted. Get rooted. Look to your roots too, because there's a lot you can learn about your origin story. There really is. That is the way. There's so much there that can help you heal. Heal beyond a broader scope of what you might be presently seeing. You're also healing patterns that have played out through your genealogy, you know, and your biology as it's woven within you in your DNA. And that doesn't just bring healing to the bloodline, that brings healing to your physical body. And that brings healing to the world around you. That brings healing to your relationships. And it extends that healing in the future too, because it lays down a new foundation. You're laying down a different stretch of road for those who will come after you. You know, they won't have to do the heavy lifting you did. And that's a beautiful thing. But also the trees, I know I keep bringing it in, but the trees really want to connect with you all, man. The trees have a lot to share right now, like so much medicine. I just feel like tree medicine is so forward. And trees are a network. They are a network of communication. So it's like you're tapping into the underground movement, you know, when you tap them with the trees. There's a whole different sound you tune into when you can drop deep. You know, there's something about dropping into the bottom end, you know what I'm saying? And see, there's that sonic quality again, this quality of what you hear, what you're tuning into. The shadows are falling behind you. You got volumes of lessons, wisdom, experiences, how you would do something differently if you ever were faced with a similar situation in the future. You know, anecdotes that provide color and texture and almost a lyrical quality to your life, like things you can pass on. Things you can pass on when you're sitting on the stoop and you're old and gray and weary, and you may be, you know, feeling like you don't have your usual pep in your step, but you light up every time you pass on a little something to those tuned into you. I almost see this cat, like cats are medicine of many things, but curiosity is one of those things. And I almost see, you know, you finding people really interested in your stories. There may be ways that you've held something back around your personal story, or something you have to share as a direct result of what you've been through that you've been kind of keeping contained, and you've been keeping it in the shadows. It's like, no, bring it forward. And yeah, it might be a little, ooh, okay, you know, I'm really bringing this forward like this. I'm really letting this aspect of myself be seen. But see, this breaks the cycle, because that's why you're here. That's why you're here. Ashe is that quality of your true soul's essence. It's a gift. indicative to who you are. It's like your birthright, what you were born into. And that's what you're here to embody, and you're here to share it because it's a gift. It's like meant to be received. So though you may feel like, I'm getting a quality of some of you have things you want to bring forward, and you just feel like, if I bring that forward, I just feel like everybody's going to be looking at me like I've totally lost the plot, or I'm going to be misunderstood, or I'm really going to feel like, you know, the odd man out, like I'm going to stand out. Some of you don't want to stand out. And yet, what if I were to tell you that that's actually like a major part of your purpose? And that is your blind spot. And that's something that needs to be transformed, because you're meant to have a greater reach, or you're meant to reach more people at a distance. You're meant to travel to different places, spaces, or really expand your worldview. Like there's something here that needs to be seen. That you really need to bring this forward, because this is the point where fortune meets opportunity. You know, we go through these experiences because we do get forged, and it tempers us, and we become something we weren't before. And that's the whole point of going through that testing in the first place. So you have clear vision now. You're not seeing through haze. You'll know how to handle tricky aspects on your path, but there's an opportunity coming your way to express what at this point has still been kept concealed. But it's something that is meant to get rooted here. There is so much strength in this. There's so much strength in this. I mean, you feel it in your bones. You went through some kind of death. You went through a major transformation in your life. You've gained a certain doorway through grace as a result of that, that provides a powerful key of knowledge to people on how they can use a stretch of road like this as a source of what will flower in their future. Even death is a flowering, physical death. It's known as the flowering stage. Blooms, remember, they're that transitory beauty. That's what makes it so valuable. It's just a moment, and you have to be present and really connected to experience the power, the magnitude, all of it. You feel all of it when you're going through a death, but grace is there too. Beauty's there too, whether it's an emotional death, whether it's the death of a belief, or a death of something that's been in your life for a long time, or even a physical death, a physical separation from somebody that has integrated their life's lessons and is now ready to go to the next level of experience, move into that flowering stage. You know? This is where the cycle begins. Everything that's going down, no matter what it looks like, no matter how much it seems like whatever it was went off the rails, you're going to see as this energy starts to come in with the Gemini new moon, building up to that Cancer new moon on July 14th, you are going to see how it was key, foundational for the blessing that's coming in. This could not flower in your life without this death as the foundation. It's rooted in this. That's what gives it strength, okay? So tune into yourself and listen deeply, because the cogs are turning, and they're the cogs of creation, and they're bringing in something, spiraling something in that's meant to move you forward. And some of you, it's memory that is awakening from a very deep place inside of you. And it's finally turning something back on. It could be the cogs in your heart. It's about listening for this truth, because you're not meant to just listen to it. You're meant to bring it into form. and step into the light building phase, trusting that the next step will be revealed as you head down the road. And it's this letting go that brings this joy. As soon as you really allow yourself to experience the shedding of what life once was, who you once were, you create through everything that was reduced to ash and all of the unhealthy attachments you released. And when I'm speaking of unhealthy attachments, that's stories you told yourself that kept you living small, or that's anger that you held on to that kept your fortunes bound up to others when really you've been free all along. It's just a choice. It's just a choice. It's not necessarily even an attachment that's related to a relationship outside of the relationship you have with yourself. I mean, ultimately, it always comes down to that, because how you relate to yourself is how you're going to show up in your relationships. And that reflects a lot to you too. And I think most people misunderstand that. You hear that. Most people like to play the blame game in relationships. But if there's something showing up in your relationship, man, the rub is it's a mirror, and it's there to show you something about yourself. And a lot of times, until you can let go and let everything you believed before, the way you saw things before, be completely subjected to that fire test of truth where it gets reduced to ash, can you finally really see the wisdom of letting go, so you understand what can be created here now. See, the flowering is there all along. It's part of it. It's part of it. 31:44 on the clock, 444. That's one of the keys, the Jupiterian energy. That's one of the keys to unlocking the 12th house, to unlock the blind spot, which is thinking that the closing out of cycles, that the completion is something to mourn when it's actually something to rejoice. This is where the light builds. This is your moment of receiving what was concealed all along in Pandora's box. And isn't that a beautiful thing? The wisdom of the hermit doubled, 27:45. The wisdom of the hermit, 18. The moon, initiation complete. You got what you need to light your way forward. You're ready to move up out of the South Node, because you may not realize it, but already you're in a whole new world, because you're not on the same timeline. Your awareness has gone up to a different level of experience. You're in this world, not of it. And that's the truth for all of us at all times. It's just a matter of when we tune into the awareness that can recognize it, okay? So this is a lot of you waking up to that awareness. And that's what has you flowing in those waters of aridness that just carry you. You go on the wild, meandering path. There's this meandering quality, this bardic quality coming in here. And you see what you're becoming along the way, but you're wild with it. You're free with it. You're ferromagnetic. And there's experiences here that are opening up to help you take a walk on the wild side and get out of some of those boxes and those places of self-containment when you're wanting to open up in a more expansion, okay? Kind of the deck energy comes in again. Forgiveness is the key, okay? It's about letting go. Might be beneficial to work with rose. Rose vibrates at the highest frequency. Rose is symbolic of love. White roses in particular are symbolic of compassion and a lot of times honoring releases and letting go of something with a quality of reverence. Even if you feel like you don't have the ability to look at another in that way, It's not about excusing cruelty or hurtful behavior, but it's saying I'm not really willing to let that weigh me down and thereby become my frequency because I'm holding on to that. You see, that's when you get to experience like this freedom from that. But it automatically frees up the other, and that's the wonderful thing. You don't even have to be ready for forgiveness, okay? You just have to let go, and then everything starts to flow, you see? And a sign will come in to let you know about this. See, night song. Some of you may be tuning in to like different frequencies at night. I can hear it coming in the air tonight. Yeah. Cardinal medicine. Cardinals are intermediaries, you know. They deliver messages from those who are beyond the veil. And they speak of joy. See, there's been a lot of like ancestral energy that's come in here. The roots are coming in really strong at this time. I think just to support the mutability, because I feel like what we're becoming is really gathering a momentum, not just individually, but also as we're going through this experience, we're starting to understand the interrelation of things more. And so naturally that energy weaves together with the collective. So it has kind of like this magnetic effect, magnifying effect. But there's hidden things that you're waking up to, hidden talents, hidden abilities you have. Things that you see that maybe others see, but they don't get what you get from it because you have the ability to hear that language. And you're able to hear that on many levels through what you feel, through what you smell, through what you see, through what you touch. From what you just know in your bones, okay? Cardinals could be coming through as a big sign. Also, creativity coming through for a lot of you. Expression coming through, the desire to express creatively. And maybe it's something you do in secret, something you've been cultivating privately. And it may be that very thing, or this may be what you're discovering that's actually wanting you to take it out of the shadows and bring it into form. Okay? So if you're wondering, should I share this? Is it time? Yes, it's time. And you'll find that in the sharing, in the giving, you'll be receiving too, especially by the time that full moon comes in on the other side of this Gemini new moon. All right, so that's what I got for the collective energy. And now I'm going to get little individual reads for each of the mutable signs. Did a little bit more of an extensive opening collective download for this particular group because it is a mutable new moon coming in. So I think that's just beneficial. And we did have the Sagittarius blue moon lead up to this, okay? So mutability is at the forefront right now. So I like to give a little bit extra when we got that energy really at the forefront. Okay. So we're going to open up first with Gemini. And Gemini coming in at 3850. Yeah, the change coming in for you, Gemini, is that you're really recognizing a past cycle is over. You feel like you put something to bed, you laid something to rest. You're experiencing a lot of growth as a result of this decision. I do feel like there could be a key communication that's opening up for you pretty soon. I feel like you're really getting a whole new sense of self. It's almost like reinventing yourself. It is your personal reboot time with your solar return. So I think you're going to be sensing a lot of renewal energy coming in. I also think what you're showing the world, like how you're showing up, how you're expressing yourself. Your image is going through reinvention. I feel that. And I feel like you're focusing more on yourself too. And I think it's really healthy. I think it's a good thing. I think you're putting yourself first. Maybe you haven't always done that. And now you recognize it's time where you're putting something that's really important to you first. And it's about time, okay? All right, Gemini. Now a little blockage here coming in. You get a little lemon water. Yeah, there could be something you're trying to figure out. How do I articulate this? How do I share this? Right. There's something about something you want to share, something you want to express, you know. You're aware it can shift the way that others see you, others perceive you. Okay, so you might be really considering how you want to express yourself. It also can be you breaking from a pack or a pact, I'm hearing, and saying, you know, no, I got to be true to myself, you know. A little bit of rebellious energy here that feels really healthy to me, actually. Okay, Gemini. So we're going to keep this real simple. See, what is this that's coming in for Gemini here? Bottom of the deck. Woo. Communication. You might have been thinking about this since wintertime. You've been sitting on this. How do I say what I need to say? Okay. Yeah. I think there's something here like you're concerned maybe about judgment. You're worried that it might cause you to sort of be on the outs with certain people, or it might create some kind of loss for you. It's coming in with Sagittarius energy here with judgment. You might be afraid of judgment. Maybe you've dealt with judgment in the past, you know. You've already kind of moved through this, but I think you're getting to the other side of this because whatever actions you're taking right now, they're very much aligned with your truth. And where you have been feeling like maybe you were kind of the odd man out or kind of a lone wolf kind of energy for a while. I see 4211 on the clock, right? Yeah, I think that you were busy learning more about yourself, what works for you at this stage in your life, what your own personal core truth is. And that became a very defining point for you. I felt like you had to take an action, and you might have taken an action in the wintertime, and it was challenging, but it was aligned with your core truth. You may have felt like practically it related to experiences that had you experiencing what may seem like a setback or some kind of loss. Maybe even some harsh judgment from people who didn't get it, but I mean, it pays off here. I see it because you got the sun, Leo energy coming in here. There's renewal here. I feel like Leo season is going to be really good for you. So really consider how you're setting your sights, because this is, you know, your personal reboot cycle here. Really think about what you're seeding right now, because I feel like what you seed, it's going to grow. It's going to grow, and the growth will be very visible, and this will have a lot of traction, and you'll be moving forward like in a pretty bold way that leads to success. I also feel like there's some attention on you, you know. There's some recognition as well of who you are, what you're working with, you know. I feel like there's a little bit of a kind of like spotlight energy on you. It's good, okay? And maybe for the first time in a long time, you feel like it's about you. You get to have your moment. For some of you, this could be because of situations that came to an end, you know, whether that was a love relationship or whether that was some kind of social dynamic or scene situation that, you know, is bringing you into alignment with, you know, new characters. And that's very transformational. But something here does lead to happiness. And I feel like it feels like a fresh start to you. Feel like there's a lot of joy here. Some of you could be celebrating something around a child, okay? something around a child or what feels like your baby, like a project that's really close to your heart. Okay, one more round here for Gemini. One more round. Anything to highlight what's going to happen here? You're being encouraged to move forward with this, okay? Dare to express yourself. Dare to bring this forward. Dare to speak your truth. Dare to take action on this. Dare to write that book, you know? Dare to bring it into form, okay? Issue the communication. Don't delay. Move with swiftness. It works in your favor. This is the moment. Knight of Swords energy. And you know, this is you brandishing the truth that you gained through taking the risk to trust yourself and maybe deal with some scrutiny to, you know, be like the outsider for a while. Be the loner for a while, okay? So, where you have experienced some harsh judgment, I also feel like there may be other people starting to see a side of you that's quite different from the role they cast you in. Some people may have viewed you in some way as being more like the one who's a victim in the situation, or spun some kind of narrative around you that's just simply not true. And I think you're showing that, no, you're working with quite a bit of metal there, you know? You got some strength. And I also feel like these words you're speaking are very transformational. Now let's see how they're transformational for you. Gemini, cut the deck. Got some shadowy energy here. We got Knight of Wands in the shadow. Ooh, okay, there's some blockage around that. Could be in relation to a situation that really angered you in the past. This is like something that really angered you. Could have been very frustrating for you too. I feel like you didn't understand why the holdup, why the delays. Something here was very frustrating. You might have been waiting for the judgment to come through on something for you to finally be able to get the go-ahead to move forward with something. You may have also felt like somebody was sort of toying with you, like implying that there was some kind of solid offer on the table, but not really delivering. And it feels like it's a pressurized situation here you were dealing with. Could have been with a Sagittarius, because we do have, you know, fire here. You could have been dealing with a really judgmental Sagittarius. You could have been dealing with a Sagittarius who plays it really fast and loose. You know? Could be a little bit of a playboy energy. Or a little bit of a reckless energy too, you know? They're in it for the moment. They never mean for it to go pear-shaped, you know, but they kind of take for granted your forgiving nature. Oh, they'll, you know, they'll let me come back into their good graces. Yeah. But I think something happened here along the way. It's like you have a new sense of value, personal value, and you've learned to really take your time, you know, not be so impetuous, especially in relation to this character. So I feel like maybe you're going to communicate with this character, and they might be coming through very like pressurized or very fiery, or like, come on, come on, come on, you know, it's now. And you're like, no, you know, I'm going to take my time. Because I'm afforded the opportunity to do that. See, because there's something you hold in your hands here. And this is a material advantage you have. And you're going to be wise about how you plan it this time. I see that. You're going to be wise about how you plan it this time. Okay, what's on this side here? Yeah. I mean, we got 8 of Cups here in the shadow. In some cases, this can be a really rough parting here because you just don't see eye to eye. You're not going to be rushed into something. You feel like somebody did something reckless. You don't want to get caught up in that. You may not want to revive something here. What's after this? I mean, look at your growth, man. From the Knight of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles. This could have something to do with your finances, your resources. And this could have been something that was holding you back. Maybe you were partnering with somebody on something. This could even be like on a business level, you know. They might have been really high pressure, like to take a risk or something. It could cost you big, but maybe you pulled out of something because you're like, this doesn't feel like a good arrangement. And it looks like you made the right choice about that here, okay? But there's communication coming in here and moving forward. And it's because you're not dealing with this, you're not dealing with this shizer here. No. See, there's been secrets in a situation. This is like clandestine energy coming in with big Sagittarius energy. And then we got all the water signs there too. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio attached to that. Creating delays. Hardship. Okay, the High Priestess here, this can be, you know, creating delays, hardship, you know. If you had an ex who was bitter, you know, they could have been trying to get, you know, a little manufactured justice according to their terms. I mean, I see however the actions were taken, though, it didn't come from a place of wisdom, but reactiveness, okay? So it doesn't look like it would be anything positive here, but I feel like clandestine energy in relation to this. Something that was kept a secret. Somebody moved forward impetuously on something, you know. I think it changed your view of them. They may feel like you're being too judgmental, you know. They're trying to push something forward real fast. You know there's still secrets in this situation. You suspect that if you open up to this, scheme or whatever this is, it's going to be more delays, more hardships, and that's the truth. You're wise to just put it to a close here because the reality is your cup is full here. There's something that you're receiving here that will be worth your investment, okay? So hold out for what's worth your investment, because you're not dealing with these cycles anymore where you have to always watch your back because you're dealing with shady people. You overcame that. And there's some kind of public recognition that I'm not there anymore. I'm not still traveling that loop. I'm not there anymore. There's like some success moment coming in for you, and people are going to be learning about this. That's what I see. Yeah, you're not in the crossroads. Your energy coming in real strong. You have self-knowledge. And so there's something you're resolving here. And it looks like it has a lot to do with your work, though, I have to tell you. This is something about your finances. And in cases for those who feel like you have dealt with spiritual warfare, this is being able to alchemize some work that was thrown your way. But this reward, this new beginning, this is coming in for you, okay? Because there's something you transformed. And it lifts whatever was keeping you from moving into expansion. You got a new sense of security here. And you're no longer in the dark. So here comes your chariot to lead you forward. Look at that. Amazing energy, Gemini. Amazing energy. All right. You heard it here. I'm going to move on now to Virgo. Virgo coming in at 5344. Wow, double eights. 16. Awakening moment for you, Virgo. You got this energy coming in the 10th house. 10th house deals with your public image, how people see you. If you're in business for yourself, it can be your brand. It's the face that is your public image and the advantages or the disadvantages that can bring, determining on what that public image is. It's also the area that deals with your professional growth and any kind of project launches, but most of all, your reputation, how people know you, your calling card, okay? And again, remember, this especially applies if you are a Virgo rising, okay? 10th house is the focus for you right now, okay? And that's where your energies can best be applied. And so let's just dive in here and see what is coming in for Virgo during this lunar cycle. This lunar cycle being kicked off with the Gemini new moon on the 14th and will culminate with the Cancer new moon on the 14th of July. So we got some time to work with these energies, okay? All right, what is coming in here for Virgo? Any sign placement for Virgo or strong 6th house placement. Also, if you're a Pisces rising, that makes you a Virgo descendant. You can get a lot of information from this. All right, let's check it out, Virgo. Wow, celebrating something here. I see a toast. I see a toast. They're getting through some pretty gnarly territory. You weren't sure if you were going to be able to make it for a while there. Some of you may have faced a major crisis, major health crisis too. I could see that. Somebody may have even been through some kind of accident, had a long recovery process. Okay. It's been a long stretch of road in relation to this. I am picking up something about somebody could have been in a really serious accident and it also really rocked their financial stability. This could have been just through going through some kind of crisis too, or something really heavy. But I feel like you made it through that and you feel a lot stronger now. Okay, this is good. You feel a lot stronger now. Some of you may have, for some of you, this could have been around an accident in relation to alcohol. And somebody went through recovery. And now it's like laying down the foundation again, okay? Whatever this is, you made it through something really heavy. You've definitely been going through a dark stretch here. You've been moving through a lot of grief. You've been navigating a lot of heavy stuff. You felt pretty held back here, but you're getting to the other side of this. You're achieving a new sense of stability. I feel like for those who were in some kind of accident and maybe there was a real process of mending the body back together, I feel like things have been successful. Okay, there was something that came through recently about an operation being successful in a portal report for somebody in the collective here. So yeah, I do feel like this is recovery too. Being in a much stronger position, finances improving, and there's something to celebrate here. And I see healing, major initiation, whatever this was. Okay, this just landed on top of this healing energy, this celebratory energy. You're not in the dark anymore either. You do have Pisces energy at the forefront here with the moon. You could have been dealing with a Pisces. Yeah. You could have been dealing with a Pisces with that 12th house energy. Maybe you've been dealing with somebody who has some kind of addiction and it's been heavy. Okay. Yeah. This could even be somebody that you had, you know, a strong connection with. You may have kind of been a support person. You may have went through something really difficult with this person because you found out about something really shady they pulled. You felt betrayed. You had to walk away from this. It was not a good ending, whatever this is. I don't know why I got this, but, you know, I do feel like you close cycle on this, but this, everything that happened here, wow, look at this. Look at all the shadow energy. the World, to the Strength, to the Four of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, to the Eight of Swords, to the Hierophant in the shadow. This could have been a Taurus too. Somebody could have even gotten into some kind of serious trouble as a result of these antics. There's like, you know, I don't know if this will be for everybody, but I bring in the messages as they come in, and this is what's really forward here. So you may be having somebody reach out to you, yeah, who maybe has been keeping an eye on you for a while, who now sees things differently, and they want to make amends. Yeah, this is somebody you used to be connected to. You felt like this person like sold you some kind of fantasy, and whatever they did, you felt like it was a real injustice. Okay? Libra energy coming in there. There's a breakthrough moment in whatever this is. I think this person's going to approach you. And I have to be honest, it looks like they're still on that same old BS that they've been on for a long time now. Coming at you with some kind of offer, saying that they've transformed. Sagittarius energy. I mean it. I'm invested this time. Look at the pretty offer. Go ahead, think about it. Take your time. All right? I feel like this is how you look at it when it comes in. You may need to open your perception a little bit. Okay? I'm just saying, we do have a Knight of Cups here, okay? I feel you're blocked off to whatever this is. Your hackles are up. That's what I feel. There's something here you suspect. It doesn't feel right. It feels off. I never think that you should go against what you feel. If you feel that off with it, you could never bring the awareness to it that's needed to make it something beneficial. So always wait until you feel like you're in a position where you can really greet something in a way where you can respond to it rather than being reactive. You may have gone a little bit cold in this situation, okay? You may feel really on guard. You may be also looking back at some of your previous experiences in the past, and that's coloring the way you're seeing something going down right now. Do be aware of that, okay? But I do feel like somebody you had a big falling out with is going to try to connect. And they've actually been keeping an eye on you. Whether you know that or not, they've been keeping an eye on you. And they've been considering the right time to advance. They know that they're probably not going to get the best reaction, all right? And I do feel like there's a lot of kind of protective energy that comes in whenever this character comes forward. But it does look like it could benefit you to just hear it out. Even if you decide you don't want to move forward on something, there can still be something beneficial that comes through there for you. That's what I'm picking up. Cut of the deck. On this side, we got the Nine of Cups. I mean, you might be in a phase where you're like, nope, I'm doing me right now. And that feels really good. I don't want to take on these hassles. I don't want to take on these stresses. I don't want to be back up in my head again. I don't want the drama. I'm fine. I used to think this is what I wanted. I don't want that anymore. I'm good. Looks like you've transformed some kind of fear here. Looks like you're feeling more at peace. And you might be in a place where you're, I have to be real with you. You're just a little bit more selfish with your energy right now. You're like, no, you know, it's about what I want to do right now. I'm focusing on me. I've been there, done that. I put the focus on the other, you know. I really felt done wrong for that. And I'm not into it, you know. But I think it would be beneficial to at least receive the illumination, because it may dispel a fear you've been kind of holding on to here, okay? But I don't see you investing in this. At least not right now. Whatever this is, okay? So it looks like you know how you want to move forward too. right? You know how you want to move forward. You know what will really fulfill you. And I think there may be somebody that you're already kind of connected to. Okay, this could be somebody from the past coming around, wanting to reconnect, or you could have moved on to an entirely different situation, or be hanging out in a totally different circle. Whatever this was, it looks like it was some kind of it was either a close association, it could be a friendship, okay, but something where there were a lot of lines blurred. And I do feel like you lost a lot as a result of investing in a certain person, or kind of taking them at their word or face value. And maybe that went on many times, and there was something here that was just like, no, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I think it can be good for you. I think you'll celebrate letting it go. I think you'll feel completion, is how it's coming through. There's something that's been completed here. And I think it's also kind of like marking a successful culmination of a cycle with this person. Like, you're not going back that way. I actually think it works out for your benefit, to be honest with you. Okay? Wow, that's some intense energy, but these are dynamic energies coming in here. But I think you'll be happy about how you're moving forward. It feels like you're finding your path apart, Virgo. You're really figuring out where your heart belongs, where you feel like you're received and appreciated and poured into. And I think that's really good. And in terms of your career, you know, I think you're taking the risk on your own dreams, you know, building up your own projects and your own visions instead of kind of like hitching your cart to somebody else. I feel like you're going to move forward more independently. And some people may think that's selfish, but it's not, you know. It's your time to let yourself be seen and to share what you got to work with, all right? And I think if you do that, you're going to experience a lot of growth. And there may be something that you're launching that you're kind of like starting, you start it now, and you may really see its growth, something to really celebrate. By Leo season, you get some kind of monumental moment there. It's like a groundbreaking moment, perhaps, okay? Perhaps you launch something. You launch something. Right now, maybe it's a soft launch, you know? You have the hard launch in Leo season, okay? All right, Virgo, let's move into Sagittarius now at 1/7/21. All right, Sag. Action's going down in your 7th house. And you're ending relationships and you're starting new cycles in relationships. Some of you are renewing relationships. You're experiencing a resurgence of love. You're experiencing a resurgence in good, solid, working relationships. We look at the 7th house, and the 7th house is not just the case of romantic mergers. And we always look at the contractual variety when we're looking at the 7th house. These are things you're really committing to, you know. A lot of times you are signing on the dotted line, you know, you're making something official, but it can also be business partnerships as well, and open enemies. I feel like you're transforming something that you've wanted to transform for a long time, and it's bringing a lot of renewal for you. You're taking some kind of action here that's transforming your reality, and it's leading to some new beginnings for you. And a lot of new beginnings in terms of your relationship. Some of you are reviving connections when you may have felt like they were on life support, you know. They're finally like coming back to life here, and they're brand new because the depth of the transformation. Yeah. You're really understanding the true value of relationship and what you're looking for there, what it really means to have somebody in your corner. And I do pick up this energy, fresh starts, new intentions, new focus for the future, and just really working on communication. That's really the key with you. Working on communication, and that's a give and take affair I'm hearing here. Okay, so let's see what's coming in for Sag here. Bottom of the deck, you see roads opening for you. Okay, you're traveling light, moving forward, and you got a white rose there, so I feel like you're traveling light too in terms of your heart. You're not holding on to anything. You're not letting memories of yesterday wear you down, weigh you down. You're very optimistic here. Some of you are hitting the open road. You're going out and exploring. You're trying new things. You're meeting new people. You're doing something that's out of character for you. And yet this is your character arc, okay? This is a really good thing. I think there's really important relationships coming onto your path. These could be new relationships or a new stretch of road in a relationship that's already been established but has had quite a few bumps. Maybe you didn't think you would make it at certain points, and all of a sudden there's life in it yet. Maybe you're going on a trip together. You may have people cautioning you about taking this particular risk, especially in relationship to partnering with somebody, whether that's on a business level, whether it's taking the risk to forgive somebody that you used to be really outwardly against. Maybe you had some kind of beef and you're deciding to bury the hatchet. Everybody's telling you, don't do that. You're setting yourself up for another fall. And yet you know that it ain't all that. There's something where you just sort of feel like, you know, a lightness of spirit here around it, a little bit of playfulness, and dare I say, maybe a titch of that optimism. It is a very Centaurian characteristic, okay? And it was 1:11:06 on the clock. So yeah, you're not in a place of indecision here. You're not like weighing anything out, trying to figure anything out. You do feel ready to take action. You know where you want to see the transformation occur in your life. You know if it's going to transform, you're the one who's going to have to get this ball rolling. And I think it balances out for you. It feels good. It brings some kind of justice into your life. Something that felt quite wrong gets set quite right, okay? And there's a new balance established in your partnership. So I think this is really good energy. There could also be an Aquarian connected to your situation, or a Leo rising. This Aquarian descendant. Okay, any more details in here? All right, we also got the Emperor here on the scene. So yeah, I really feel like you are seated in your power in a situation. And you might be taking a little bit more of a practical view, especially in terms of your finances, securing your kingdom, securing the fruits of your labor, investments you're making here. You may have been kind of more prone to take quick, hasty actions in the past. You've learned the wisdom of really taking your time to get a full understanding of what you're getting into, and also laying down the right kind of foundation here. And with that, we got a Queen of Cups on the scene. You're wanting to transform a connection here where maybe there's been some arguments. This person has been keeping their feelings inside. You sense that, you know. You've been keeping an eye on this person. You're hoping to get them to open up about what they are feeling emotionally in a situation, in your connection. Your energy coming in, you want to bring a revival in this situation. You want to bring it back from the brink, okay? You feel like it can be worked out. You appreciate this person in a way you didn't appreciate them before. This could be somebody you want to make a serious commitment to. This could be somebody you were in a very serious, committed relationship with, but you've been experiencing hardships. You needed to take a little time out, get in touch with, what am I feeling now? What do I want here? You finally understand with this new moon. You take the blindfold off and you act out of inner authority. I feel like you're up against some challenges in this situation. The challenges that you're up against is it's going to kind of put you up in your head as you move into this territory, because it's going to bring up the old stuff that you've been able to kind of separate yourself from for a while. And that's going to make you feel like you might be going through a repeat of experiences you've had in the past. But this is a cue to break the karmic loop. Get out of your head. It's just a memory of how things were. You can approach situations differently this time in the way you navigate them. You don't have to feel like you're in a position where you know, somebody else is calling the shots and you have no idea what's going on, or if you can let down your guard. So what ends up happening is mutual manipulation, and then you both feel like you get left out in the cold, and that doesn't work for anybody. And we got earth sign energy coming in really strong around this, coming in with the 5 of Swords and the 3 of Cups in the shadow, okay? So I got a couple things here. Either this is like 2 people injuring each other because of the stories they tell themselves, because of experiences they've dealt with in the past, injuries they've been through in the past. And so this suspicious nature breeds contempt, and it causes problems. And then there's too many things that are kind of kept hidden, and that creates compromising. I heard alliances, maybe other people you start letting into your situation instead of addressing the person you're actually having the issue with and clarifying things. And then the next thing you know, something has become you know, a betrayal. Okay, there's some kind of betrayal that's occurred in a situation. There's something that feels a little shady, taking advantage of a person, a situation. Now in business, this could be somebody that was really like, you know, taking more than their share, doing something really unethical. Could be something that could get them caught up with the 8 of Swords, just because of not thinking this through. This wasn't smart. You thought it would pay off? Well, you know, the law requires balance here. In some cases, it can be a situation like that, you know. Somebody pulling some funny stuff with the money. There could be a Taurus connected to this because we have the World here. Any fixed sign energies could be connected. Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, or Scorpio, okay? We had Scorpio energy and Taurus energy come out really strongly here. So this could be somebody you go a ways back with too, right? But you're taking an action here that's transforming things. That's what I see. And you're acting on your own behalf in relation to what you've learned, okay? I think you see something clearly. You know what is, weird. So it's coming through. You know what's rotting the foundation in your life. Of a home. You know that letting this go brings about regeneration. And there could be somebody you're trying to strike a plea deal with you, and that's that Hierophant there. It could be Taurus trying to strike a plea deal with you. Somebody with both Taurus, Scorpio, strongly aspected, because we got Scorpio here with death. But I do feel like you're transforming something. You're letting something go. I feel what you're letting go of is an old cycle. It's like the work is complete. This is also the complete transformation of the alchemist here. So you are achieving the Philosopher's Stone there. And I feel like there's renewal coming in for you. You got new beginnings here. Because you're willing to let go of something that you had attachment to in the past, but you know that to go back that way is going to rot your foundation. That's how the message is coming in. Coming in real strong with Leo energy here. So probably a past connection. Okay, let me go ahead and do a cut of the deck here to cap this off for you, Sagittarius. And then look at this. Because of transforming the past, there is some kind of healing that happens for you here. I feel like it happens within you. I mean, that is what the Philosopher's Stone is all about. You transform. But I do feel, you know, there was that indication that your heart's going to know, you know, where it belongs and what it's gravitating toward. And you're going to know what to receive as a result of this, okay? I do feel like there's a very special connection coming in here, transforming here, all right? But it's in a different direction than where you've been going. It's like you took a misadventure here and you thought it was going to be wish fulfillment. You thought it was going to be gratifying, and it ended up being anything but. And now the real deal's coming in because you're leaving that behind. And you have a new view of what's possible for your world. And here comes your star. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? North Node energy. Destiny. You've done the healing work. So you're over a time of self-reflection. And now you're seeing the result. The Philosopher's Stone. What's on the other side of the transformation? You had the vision. You knew what you wanted to call in. It's been whirling about out there. And it's finally spiraling into creation. You know, so don't get caught up, you know, on the rough end of that by entertaining shadows of the past when you know it's not it, you know, because I feel like that's just going to keep you from having this point of transformation and fulfillment that's coming in here for you. It looks like a key relationship. It's going to be like a second wind for you. Whatever this partnership is that's coming in, I mean, real romantic tones, but also, you know, it can just be friendly with the Two of Cups. It's like an initial meeting. It's an initial spark. It's a feeling of, hey, you know, I really feel you, you know, this feels good. This feels simpatico. So I like this for you. And it is a fresh start, but you might be surprised. It could really grow into something much more than you anticipate at this point. So just be open to it, okay? And trust. You know what is true and what to do. All right, finally, Pisces coming in at 121.15. Well, Pisces, it looks like you are really wrapping up a cycle dealing with a particular devil, ma'am. Bringing about transformation in a tricky situation. For you, this could be happening on the home front. And I say that because this new moon is activating your 4th house. So this could have something to do with a family matter, something to do with your home, those you share your home with. There might be some changes happening on the home front. You may be working to establish more of a sense of a foundation, a sense of emotional security, okay? And really taking your time with that. You may also be bringing in some fresh energy into the home. You might be doing a little remodeling, redecorating, really just like shifting things around in your environment so it feels more conducive, supportive. Helps to support your daily routine too, this kind of energy coming in. All right, let's see what is coming in here for Pisces in this lunar cycle. Okay, that flipped up in the middle of the deck. What's concealed, because it feels like it's something. Look at this, the way it's going through. Oh, wow, and there's your energy on the bottom of the deck, Pisces. It's like you're peering over the fence. Is it safe for me to head into that territory? It's like you're trying to get a lay of the land. Yeah. You've been in that space. That's what's been concealed. You might be about to show your hand. Oh, yeah, I would say so. Look at your energy coming in here. You want to profess something, express something that you've been keeping under wraps. You're hoping to turn around a disappointment, maybe get a new beginning out of the deal. Yeah, it looks like there was some kind of harsh judgment in a situation that led you to a place of being a little bit confused about how did we wind up here? I thought it was supposed to be the Lovers, and now we're hanging out at the crossroads, and I feel like I have no idea what's coming my way. But there's like keeping an eye on things here. There's some kind of opportunity that's being offered here. I don't know. Do you even see it? Do you? You're like reflecting back on something. I have a feeling this might be something that's sneaking up on you. You might not know if you want to let this in. I mean, I feel like you were dealing with some opposition here. You've been warding something off, holding something back, dealing with a lot of energies coming at you, people wanting a piece of you, people wanting your time, your energy, your attention, people coming at you, talking at you, you know. You could have been dealing with some argumentative situations, stuff that was like a little grating for your nerves. It looks like you've been in kind of like a sensitive space too, maybe confused about something, sorting through something. You might have been doing some deep healing, okay? But your guard's been up. But you're already at higher ground here, so you have a different perspective here. And I'm not so sure if you want to heal this, whatever this is. There's like distrust around it. You feel like it's a blind spot. You feel like it's a blind spot. You do. You feel like it's a blind spot. You're not sure if you can trust this. You're guarded against this, whatever this is. So let's get some details for you, Pisces. Could be around a family member, okay? Or a home situation you're dealing with where you feel like maybe that's why you might even be considering a move, you know? I can see that. You might feel like, I just don't feel comfortable here. I don't feel like I can really like lay down roots here. I just feel like I'm always on guard, you know. I don't have any privacy. You know, I don't really get along with the people I'm living with, you know, this kind of energy too. You might be getting an opportunity to move. And moving there could bring you into alignment with you know, a good ally, okay? Good ally. Let's see. You might be moving in with somebody, or there could be some element coming into your home that's maybe at first it feels destabilizing, but ultimately it leads to some kind of renewal. It helps stabilize the foundation, okay? Something really shifting at home. But I know that after you go through this process, you're going to feel more emotionally secure. But right now, you feel stuck. You feel stuck. Yeah, something feels off at home, or you may feel like you're stuck. Like, that might be why you're kind of like trying to get a lay of the land. Like, when do I go? You know, if you have roommates, if you're in that kind of a situation or things have been tense at home, you might have been like kind of keeping to yourself as much as possible. Okay, interesting. You could also live with people who like party too, and that's something that's not really working for you. You need more quiet time when you can kind of like just drop in, tune in. There's something at home that's been disrupted. I mean, this could even be, you know, remodeling needs to happen at home, and that puts you out of your usual element, and so you're staying somewhere temporarily, and it's just like throwing things off for you. There could be something going on with a child too, right? Something going on with a child. Maybe there's a child that's dealing with, or somebody younger that is a member of your family that's dealing with some emotional issues or some kind of addiction issues or something. And that's concerning you too. You could be learning about something that is kind of throwing you in a place of indecision, and you're not quite sure what the right judgment call is. And so this seems like this is at the forefront. But I do feel you have the ability to transform this, because it does look like ultimately you figure it out, okay? And you're ready to move forward in a direction that maybe you've been keeping under wraps. I could see that too. If like something's felt really off in the home environment or in a particular dynamic, and you felt like you've had to be on guard, like your desire to transform that and what that looks like could be something you need to keep under wraps, okay? These changes you are wanting to make may need to be kept under wraps in the best interest of you and maybe of a child too, okay? This energy coming in for those who are parents or have a younger person that they feel responsible for. All right, and with this, we have all this transformed energy. So I know this is going to turn around. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, you're planning something here. It's like strategy. Strategy to free yourself from a really binding situation and get back into your own power here. I do feel like you've been dealing with something that's really been holding you back here. Something that has felt like a real weight on your soul, okay? And you're wanting to get more into independent energy here, wanting to get yourself in a stronger position. Also wanting to get to the other side of something that you feel is just really bound up your energy for a long time. This could be in relation to an emperor, you know, somebody who calls the shots. This is the way it goes. And you're like, I'm the emperor now. Aries energy coming in there. Capricorn energy coming in here too. Okay. Also with the High Priestess, it's all water signs really. You could be dealing with a Scorpio, Cancer as well. We have Gemini here in the shadow, Sagittarius here in the shadow. All right. Yeah, I feel like you're moving forward. You were held back for a while, but you're moving forward. It could have been you were waiting for assets to free up here so you could move in the direction of your dreams. You felt like you needed to have the security to be able to do that. That's the only thing that kept you in a conflicted situation where you had to just sort of stew in the drama. Now you're resolving that. You're acting independently. I do feel like there's growth in your work. There's growth in your finances. There's growth, period. So you're moving into a more stable position and you're freeing yourself here. So this is good. You're springing a lock. You're getting free. And you're back in your energy, but you're being quiet about this because it's like you're wanting to break free of this situation and you're wanting to really go in the direction that, you know, this is where I belong. This is what's right for me. I don't want to be in this position where I have to be on guard all the time anymore. And I do feel like you moving forward in that direction and it being successful. So this looks positive for you. Okay, let's go ahead and cut the deck to cap it off. See what we got. Let these plans be concealed. Don't share these plans. You got to nurse this like a seed germinating in the dark, all right? Yeah, that's what it is right now. This is like totally undercover. You're moving in the dark. You're moving in concealment. You know you can't tip others off. So you're working more with your shadow priestess energy here. Absolutely. Is it manipulating things a bit? It is. It is. But in this case, it looks like you're dealing with a situation where you have to do that. You have to do that because you can't get caught up here. It could be not a good thing if this is sussed out. Okay? I mean, it would create big loss, a lot of instability too within a household that you're not prepared for yet, I feel. You're not yet in this position. Okay? You're not yet in this position. You're working towards getting there. And that's why you're here concealed, keeping an eye on things, keeping an eye on different parties involved in this situation. Some of you are dealing with a third party situation, okay? Yeah, the truth is concealed, but it'll be revealed once this move takes place. But there's a need to kind of like move out of one situation quietly in order for this to happen, right? Or else what you hope will be destiny could be the rough hand fate. That's what I see. We got Sagittarius energy coming in there. Also all the fixed signs. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. You could be dealing with any of those characters. All right. That's what I got for you. All right, wish you all the best navigating this territory. Everything is in flux, but there is a lot of transformation happening. It's happening in a very good way. It supports us moving into a whole new storyline. So no matter how you roll or what you're facing, I wish you strength, resilience, determination, focus, drive, and most of all, plenty of heart fire to fuel you on the journey ahead. And as always, Godspeed.